Welcome to another podcast.
Every time we do a podcast,
only so far.
Before we start, you always say, let's have fun.
I do.
And then I proceed to laugh through the whole show, and you sit there like a wooden Indian.
I'm having a great
You're
time.
always saying, let's have fun. So have some fun.
I'm having fun.
Pretend you're interested in this
I'm having
guest.
fun. We have a great guest. First of all, I am
He's
Peter.
there already.
He's right here.
I'm here.
He's with us via Zoom. First of all, I'm Peter Bales, and this is Jackie the Joke Man Martling, and our terrific guest, longtime friend and comedian who's done everything. There he is, Max Dolcelli.
Dolcelli, la dolce vita.
Is he a comedian or is he an operetta?
He's a comedian, and he's a
Sounds like a pizza joint.
Dolcelli.
And welcome, Max. Thanks.
It was a pizza joint. I used to make pizza before I did comedy.
Did you really?
I had my own pizzeria in Summit, New Jersey.
And was it good pizza? Was it up?
It was great pizza. It was
Manhattan standards.
But you know what? I started doing the road, and I had to get rid of it. I had to sell it.
That's a true story.
That's a true story.
I thought you were just rolling with the whole thing.
No. And I'm really glad you guys have me on your show. Since you guys started this, I've been waiting by the phone every single day and waiting for you to call me.
We had the
Every
number
day.
wrong. We had the number.
Every day I waited. Finally, my wife said, eat something, you'll faint. I said, no, I don't want my mouth to be full in case they call me.
You know,
The
for
no Nichols and
years-
May bit right there.
For years, I could not put together.
Yeah.
I knew, and I've been telling the story forever about the first time I met Sam Kennison and when I did the gig and blah, 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 and explain. But there was a third guy in the van, and I just could not remember back that far. And turns out, I don't know how we came across it, but it was you and me.
I met Sam Kennison in LA. You want me to tell you the story, how I met him and how he
Yeah.
ended?
I want you to, but first I want Bales to tell our audience, as stupid as this sounds, who Sam Kennison was.
Sam Kennison, we have younger viewers, believe it or not. He was
no.
a special.
Google him.
Well, yes, Google him, but he was an outrageous comedian from an earlier generation by now. And he's almost indescribable. I'll take a shot at it. He started out as an itinerant traveling preacher with an incredible voice who transitioned into comedy, and outrageous doesn't.
And use that same loud, boisterous. But if there was any comic you think would be ubiquitous and it would travel over the decades, I was at physical therapy today, and I said, oh, we're going to have a great podcast. Today we're doing two. The first one we're doing with a guy I was with when I first met Sam Kennison. And this guy doing the physical therapy is no kid. And he said, who's that?
I know.
And I was like, whoa. You know, I mean, I can understand, you know, I don't know who, you know.
I worked with an African-American singer on a cruise ship just recently. And I said, Otis Redding. And he said, who?
Oh, no.
Whoa.
I could not believe it. He didn't know who Otis Redding was.
I hope you heard him.
Well, you know, the ultimate example of that for me is when Ricky Henderson was on the Yankees. They asked him about Jackie Robinson. You know, who's Jackie Robinson? You can't.
Kidding me.
Hold on a second. Who's Ricky Henderson? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
How did you meet Sam Kennison?
Okay. We should do a little example of Sam. Remember that bit he used to do? He goes, you ever watch those TV shows where they show these poor starving children out in the middle of a desert? Remember those shows? You want to know why they're starving? Because they live in a desert. There's no food here. Nothing's going to grow here.
It's always going to be sand.
Want to help these people out? Don't send them food, send them luggage. Move them to where the food is. This is sand. Nothing's going to grow here.
So great.
Remember that? Well,
Oh,
Yeah,
Pretty
and
bit.
you know what? Beyond what he was saying, there is truth behind it.
oh,
I know.
It is true. There's never going to be food there. Why don't you go live where the food is?
Yeah. Anyway, I was in Los Angeles. I was staying with Lenny. Remember Lenny Schultz?
Oh, Lenny Schultz.
Go
still in
crazy, Lenny.
contact with him.
Nobody could follow Lenny. Nobody. Even Robin one day said, I can't follow this guy. You know,
Wow.
Anyway, I was out in LA and he was staying, I was staying with him and Sharon, and I was doing some stuff out there back in '82, I think. And what happened was he brings me to the Comedy Store, and we go to the Comedy Store. He goes, "You got to see this guy. He's crazier than me." So I walk into the original room, and I saw this guy on stage, and he's like doing the whole thing. "This is Sam," and yeah, how Sam, when he gets real dirty, and people were walking out on him. And he goes, "You hate me? You hate me? I only wish I had a list of your sacred dead." I could write my.
I actually saw Sam Kinison in Florida. We were working at the Fort Lauderdale comic strip, and we had an outside gig,
Yeah.
and they were not expecting a comedian. They were certainly not expecting the unknown Sam Kinison. And he walked 300 people.
Yeah.
You know, he was a lot to get used to.
Yeah, oh, yeah, but he got
people
a following.
caught on. And you know, you mentioned Lenny Schultz. Jackie and I tell Lenny Schultz stories to each other because you know he was pretty well known. He had a short stint on the reboot of Laugh-In.
Laughing, right?
And he was known as the Bionic Chicken.
He sent me a picture. He did the first New Year's Eve at the Comedy Store. I don't even know what year that would have been. It was a zillion years ago.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you.
Okay, now
So
I'll
the
tell you how I
night-
met him.
The
Let me
night
tell you how I
met
met him.
you, I not
What?
met you, but the midnight of me, you and Sam, you already knew him.
Oh yeah, what happened was I'm out there in LA, so I meet Sam Kinison, and I watch his set, and I thought this guy's great. But the audience were walking out, so I walked up to him after he got off stage, and I said, "Man, I love your stuff. I love, you know, if you ever come to New York City, they would love you in New York." I goes, "Well, I don't know anybody in New York City." And I said, "Well, I'm from New York, and I actually live in Jersey." He goes, "Well, I'd love to come to New York." I said, "Well, if you ever come to New York, give me a call." Like, and I knew Balazzo's, and I knew, with Jerry Stanley and everybody that booked rooms, And I said, "I can get you work. The money's not great, but I can get you some work. They'll love you." And he goes, "Well, man, I'd love to come to New York, but I have no place to stay in New York." And just to be polite, remember, this is 1982. I said, "You can stay with me." I just said it to be polite and thinking I'd never hear from him. I gave him my phone number, and we talked for about 10 minutes or so. Then that was it. I left. 2 days later, I fly home, and I get a call. "Hey, Max, this is Sam." I said, "Sam who?" He said, "Sam Kinison. Remember me?" I said, "Oh, yeah, man, from the Comedy Store. How you doing, man?" He goes, "I'm in Kansas City." I said, "Oh, you got a gig, man. That's wonderful. That's wonderful." He goes, "No, man. You remember he said, if I ever come to New York and give me work?" I said, "Yeah, if you ever come here." I said, he goes, "Well, I'm on my way." I said, he goes, "Can I still stay with you?" I said, "Already?" I said, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a big water bed in the basement. You can sleep there." He goes, "Well, I got my girlfriend Corey with me. Can she stay too?"
At this point, are you married or do you have roommates?
I was married. I had to tell my wife at the time that Sam Kinison come. Okay, so he goes, "And my girlfriend Corey, can she stay too?" I said, yeah. And my brother's Kevin is in the car. Can he stay? I said, "Holy, can't there anybody else?" He said, "Not just the three of us." So they came in the next day, and they stayed for about a couple months. And I brought him. I got in touch with Sam and with Stanley, and Balazzo's loved him.
Yeah.
And I got him work here and there, and man, and I think that's where I met you, Jackie, with Sam.
That was so crazy.
It was.
We got in that van, and the three of us just started drinking and having fun. And Max, it is like ingrained in my head.
Yeah.
And Balazzo saying, "Jackie, you host the show and save a lot of your stuff, because I don't know how Sam's going to go over, because he's a little different."
Yeah, it was Sam.
And those people were so shocked out of their shorts, man. My God, it was like lightning struck them,
There's a picture of Sam and his girlfriend in my kitchen.
Wow.
Corey, back in 19. Remember he.
Hold that still. That is him.
That's Sam
Kinison. He didn't look like that for very long. That's
No.
not him on stage.
No, but
And
that
he
was
got rid of
him
the
in my
mustache.
house, and his girl.
Yeah.
It's like he shrunk and expanded.
Oh, there you go. Maybe the picture went down.
That's great. No,
That's great. That's great.
good. That's Sam Kinison and his girlfriend.
So you started in Los Angeles?
No, I started you know how I started? Back in when did you guys start doing comedy? What year?
70. Well, I call my official starting date 79, because that's the first time I told jokes
Me too.
and play guitar as opposed to playing guitar and telling jokes. And Vic from the Rainy Night House actually handed me money. I said, okay, that I'm going to start the club. You know,
The Rainy Night House.
1979 is my magic year too.
What, 79? Me
1979.
too. December of 1979. What happened was I was involved in an off-Broadway show, and the star of the show was a guy named, remember Divine?
Yes.
of course.
Divine, yeah. Well, he took the whole cast to see we went to the comic strip back in like around 78, maybe 79. And I remember I remember the three comics too. It was Larry Miller, Seinfeld, Uncle Dirty. And
Wow.
Uncle
Right.
Dirty impressed me more than the other two.
That's really
Yeah, honestly.
It's
Did you
Uncle
like Uncle
Dirty
Dirty?
time. Oh man.
Uncle Dirty was actually, he was around for so long. I would call him almost a beat comic. He was,
Yeah,
he predated hippies even.
he was doing what Carlin ended up becoming famous for.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
I remember hosting a show at my father's place in Roslyn on Long Island and saying to the crowd, I'm really sorry to announce that Uncle Dirty's not going to be on the show tonight because he had car trouble and he was passed out down in the green room, dead drunk.
Yeah.
Did you know he was in the movie Goodfellas?
No,
You got to watch Goodfellas.
I got to watch the movie again just so I can see
remember,
Dirty.
remember Ray Liotta was Henry Hill, and he was
Yeah.
married to Karen.
Yeah.
And when he went to Karen's house the first time to meet her parents, Uncle Dirty was Karen's father. That's the
I got to watch that movie just so I can see that.
ridiculous trivia.
So to our viewers, this show is made for Googling. You are Googling Lenny Schultz.
Yeah, Google it.
You are Googling Uncle Dirty.
And Sam Kennison. Actually,
Well,
you
Sam
can.
Kinison, you really should.
Uncle
get-
Dirty has a website called The Real Uncle Dirty. You know,
he can't still, he's long gone.
no, he passed away about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I remember going to the show, the comedy show. Never went to a live comedy show before. I can meet more chicks doing that. That was my motivation. My
That
motivation.
is everybody's motivation. You know, they say everybody says that they went into comedy or music to meet chicks. And the few people that don't admit that are lying.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. That may have crossed my mind.
It may have crossed. I think it crossed your mind 3 times since we started this show.
I'm sure it crossed. It crossed Richard. What was it? Who was that comedian? JJ.
Oh, JJ Ramirez?
You remember
J.J. Ramirez, the
Oh,
Latin
A legend. A
lunatic.
legend. Yeah, a Latin lunatic.
Terrific comedian.
God.
Oh yeah.
Funny guy.
Yeah.
He's the East Coast distributor of crabs.
We'll just leave it at that.
So when you went to see you with Divine, were you like with John Waters?
No, just Divine and the cast of this show called Women Behind Bars, and we were all to see this show. We went to the comedy show, and then I wanted to try comedy, so I finally got the courage, and I called up all these people I knew and said, "What's the best club to go there?" And they told me Catch a Rising Star, and I went in there and I walked right up to the owner. First I went to the bar. I said, "Where's Mr. Newman?" Because it said Rick Newman's Catch a Rising Star.
Right.
The guy pointed at me. Guy named Bill. Remember Bill, the bartender there?
I wasn't
But
close.
anyway, he pointed me to Rick Newman, and I said, "I'm ready. I've got my 5 minutes. You know, can I go on stage tonight?" It was Monday night. He goes, "Don't you know what you have to do?" I said, "No, I don't." He goes, "You've got to come here next Sunday or whatever it was. Wait in line outside around 3:00 in the morning." And Peter was he comes around and he hands numbers out. The first 20 numbers. If you're like after 20, you just go home.
Wow.
And what happened was Rick and I, we started talking, and he said, "I like it." He said, "Give this guy number 5 for next week." So he gave me, I didn't have to wait in line. He gave me
Nice.
That is gold. Because I remember
know.
going, I did so bad there, but you get like number 15 or something, and it'd get later and later, and all of a sudden you're getting close, and they get to number 13, and all of a sudden Ed Bluestone or David Brenner walks in, and they do 45 minutes. So now instead of it being 12 o'clock, it's 1
Yep.
o'clock.
2
And,
o'clock.
you know, and then everybody, what a game.
And
It
everybody
was.
knew where they stood in the pecking order. I saw Jerry Seinfeld look at the door and see somebody walk in. And there was a time when Belzer would have been ahead of Jerry.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see somebody walk in the door? You know where you stand. You sit right down if that person.
And if
was
Robin
ahead of
came
you.
in, if Robin Williams came in, which he did quite often,
Yeah,
everybody got bumped.
everybody got
Right,
bumped,
right.
unless they were named Rodney.
And
Right.
right.
Yeah, like Rodney and Brenner and Robin, they could just walk in and just almost go and throw the guy off stage.
Walk right on stage.
Not quite, but you know, great days though. I bombed
Oh.
there so bad. And when I got a little bit famous, I used to sit and have lunch with Rick Newman at the Friars Club. And he loved nothing better than the stories of how crappy I did at, I mean, so hard.
Isn't it?
But that's
Isn't
great
it
times.
ironic that Rick Newman passes away this day after Richard Belzer passes away?
That is,
That was
That
wild.
was weird, man. You know?
that was really, really weird. Now, listen, Max, stand up a little bit and show our audience the shirt you're wearing. Comedy Club in
Wow.
Sheepshead Bay.
You have one of these
Another
shirts,
thing.
Jackie? Jackie, do you have this shirt?
No.
You don't. I'm going to send you a shirt.
Yeah, I'm going to say that is in way too good a shape to be. That's got to
Yeah.
be
No. What happened was about 5 years ago, I found my old Pips shirt inside of a box, and I wanted to make, so I called the last owner, which I forgot his name now, but because what's his name? What's his name?
Ray.
Yeah, Ray died, and then there's somebody else who took it. But anyway, he said, "Yeah, go ahead." So I made up like about 2 or 3 dozen, and I gave them all away to comics. And then I had to make some more because more comics wanted them, and a lot of comics got this shirt.
I'm sure so many people. You know, I still got a bunch of those
A bunch of
horrible old
celebrities.
satin jackets.
Yeah,
Remember the
yeah,
satin
yeah, yeah.
jackets and said rascals or
Yeah,
governors or chuckles and
These are well-known comedy clubs in the New York area. Max sent, there it is. I was just going to say, look who he sent it to.
oh, that's
That
great.
is cool. There is Jerry posing in a
and
Pips
I
t-shirt,
gave
and
I
he
gave one
worked
to
there a lot.
Billy
He worked-
Crystal, Adam.
Yeah.
Adam got one. A lot of
Robert Klein, Joan
Dice
Rivers.
Clay wanted too.
That's right. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. He did.
Who
Okay.
wanted to?
Dice Clay.
Oh, that well, you had to sew them together.
Yeah.
You know, we did a movie.
So a lot of celebrities started at Pips.
Yes.
10 or 20 years ago, they did a movie and Ray was still alive and the club was on its ass and was going to go under. So they decided to make a movie about a club that was going under that threw a show to try to save the club. But meanwhile, the movie was to attempt to save the club. And Ray Garvey had done a lot of Woody Allen movies, and the guy who was shooting the movie was one of Woody's cinematographers, whatever. So we had everybody, and I wound up doing like jokes at the end so they could run the credits. In addition to my regulars, everybody had a few minutes. But at the end, I did, like 20 or 30 minutes worth of jokes for them to shoot and run the credits over. And Woody Allen sat through my jokes, and Mike Green is cameraman. He was his cameraman for like 20 years, and Mike became a friend. And Mike went up and said, "Well, Woody, what do you think of Jackie?" And Woody Allen said, "He's very funny, but he's not my cup of tea." What a gentle way to say somebody sucks, you know.
Pips in Sheepshead Bay. Another thing.
I've got a
Google.
Pip story that involves Otto and George.
Go.
You want to hear it? And
Sure.
that's another. You got Googlers out there. Google Otto and George.
Otto and George. Yeah,
Somebody
that-
there should be a movie about him and George.
There absolutely
should
should
be.
be.
There
There
really
Should be a
movie. This
T-shirt
guy
with them on.
A legend. Open the doors for all the shock comics, I think. Anyway, back in when I first started working cruise ships back in the early 90s, I get a call from the owner of Pips, and I forget. I don't think it was Ray Garvey at the time. Maybe it was, right? But it was before Ray Garvey. There was somebody else before Ray Garvey.
So it had to be the brothers, right?
No, it
Marty
wasn't. It
and
was a
Seth
guy named
Schultz?
Mike or somebody. Anyway, it doesn't matter. No, yeah, George Schultz's sons was Seth and Marty, right?
Right.
Anyway, I get a call. Just got off a cruise ship, and he goes, "Hey Max, man, I need a comic tonight, Saturday night at Pips." I said, "Oh, I just got off a ship. I really don't want to drive to Sheepshead Bay." And the guy goes, "Oh man, I need somebody to work with Otto and George." I said, "Otto and George, I'll do it," because I get to hang out and see. Because Otto, they were special, you know. It was just Otto, but it was George. And so I said, I'll do it. So I drove I'm going to make $150, and I get to work with Otto and George that night, 2 hours, whatever it was. So I drive to Sheepshead Bay, and I get there a little early, and I'm standing in front of the club with Ray Garvey. Ray Garvey was the bartender, I think, at the time, and about 3 or 4 other people from the club. We're waiting there. And there was this guy pacing back and forth from Pips to Joe's Clam Bar, talking to himself, but it's Brooklyn, so you really don't pay much attention to it. It's not that unusual. This guy's like talking to himself and like punching like that and going, and so we looked at him and we just let him go. So he's going back and forth from Joe's Clam Bar back to Pips, back and forth. And Otto pulls up in a car. Now, Otto without George is very shy. He was very timid,
You
Without
almost
George,
don't know he's there.
yeah. So he gets out of the limo out of the taxi. But luckily, the guy's on the other side. He's over there by Joe's Clam Bar, and he sees Otto. And this is an example of how insecure comedians are. So he gets out of the taxi and he's walking towards the club, and we're all standing out in front of there. This guy sees him and he comes running over to him. And he goes, "You!" Now, can I swear?
Yeah.
Can I swear? Because the guy said, "You motherfucker, last night I was here with my friends. You were making fun of my mother and in front of my friends. I came here to freaking kick your ass, but blah, blah, blah." And Otto's like, What are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean? He goes, "What do you mean? Last night I was here with my friends and you were making fun of my mother in front of my friends. I came here to kick your fucking ass, but you got all your friends here, blah, blah, blah," and yelling. And Otto going, "I'm really sorry. I didn't really mean to do that, and George is in the bag. I wish George was out because George would have ripped him apart.
Right.
But anyway, the guy's like screaming at him. He goes, "If it wasn't for your friends here, I would have freaking ripped your head off and shit down your throat." And the guy starts to walk away. And I swear to God, Otto said, "Well, did you like the rest of my show?"
That's
A little
He turns around and goes,
clarification here.
He didn't know
Otto
what
and
to say.
George. Otto was a ventriloquist. George was the dummy, and he was a pioneer for shock comics. Max has it right.
as outrageous as he could have possibly been.
Max, I have
Made
to
fun of
mention-
everything.
I have to mention this, Max. I mention it because you are one of the hardest working comics I know. And we all do a set, and we all need to do a set and make a little extra money at all these times. We've all been through that. And in the 80s, I was doing the dating game, a humorous dating game at Rascals.
I remember that.
And we had a feature act before I did the dating game. And it was you. And you can, I mean, you kill every time. So Max is on the show, and that's great. So you come up and you do your spot, and you brought with you your bride. She was in her wedding dress. Now look at it. Oh, see,
it was New Year's. It was oh gosh, Halloween night. We had a Halloween wedding in that afternoon. We got married. Everybody came to our wedding dressed in costumes.
Wait.
He brought.
It wasn't a Halloween costume. It was really her wedding outfit.
But that was her wedding outfit. But
She got married earlier in the day and came to do a set.
I had a set. I couldn't.
Before the dating game.
At Rascals.
You cannot make that up.
Max,
I'm not making that up. That really happened.
That is a badge of honor.
Tell him that we got to do this again.
Oh, we got to please come on again, Max. You are so much fun. Now listen.
These things fly by so fast, but we found that
thank goodness it's over. Boy, was I waiting for that.
small bite.
I want stories. This guy is Mr. Cruise Ship. This guy is Mr. Travel the Country. This guy is Las Vegas and Atlantic City. We got to do this again, Max. You
I want to
are
work in Atlantic
funny.
City again. The Borgata. And I don't know who's booking it now, but it's been a
Yeah,
while.
it's like a hot potato. You
That's
know?
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Max Dolcelli, thank you so much for coming
It's
on.
an honor to work with you. Jackie, can I just say that Jackie Martling in this business is a legend. He knows more jokes than any other comedian. And Peter Bales, another legend. It's an honor for me to work with
Oh,
you.
Wow, that's
You're very, very nice. Jackie Martling, Peter Bales, thank you, Max Dolcelli.
Not even one joke from Jackie. Come on.
the guy says to his wife, "Are you faking it last night?" She says, "No, I was really asleep."
I'm sorry, Max, if that hits home with you.
Yeah.
I know.
See
Take
you
care.
later.
We'll see you next time.
Love you guys.
That was a pretty good episode.
A new episode every Wednesday with me, Peter Bales, Jackie the Joke Man Martling, comedians, interesting people. Leave a comment. We'll get what am I saying?
I don't know.
We're gonna get back to you. We will respond to your comment.
Standupmemories.com. If you go there, it shows all the different
All
platforms.
Spotify, we're on everything.
Every Wednesday.
Stand Up Memories,
Every Wednesday.
a new episode.